Great. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special called board meeting to do our public hearing for student assignment. We have a quorum of board members. I know there's some traffic, so we may expect some coming a little later. I know we have some, not all of our speakers are quite here yet, but if you'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And well, our board meetings do have an information item that includes comments from board members and the superintendent. I'm assuming none of us have a lot of comments today, but I'm wondering if we can go around and introduce ourselves so our speakers know who we are, because some of us are absent of nameplates at the moment. So I'm Lindsay Mahaffey. I'm the chair of the board, and I represent District 8, which is most of the western part of Wake County and southwestern Wake.
So I'm Chris Haggerty. I represent District 7, which is Northwest Raleigh, Morrisville, and West Cary. Thank you.
Jim Martin, represent District 5, which is generally the Lake Wheeler watershed from Raleigh down to Holly Springs and Fuquay.
Roxy Cash, representing North Wake, District 3.
Heather Scott, I represent District 1, which is Northeastern and Eastern Wake.
I'm Karen Carter. I represent District 9, which is most of Cary, a little bit of Apex, and a little bit of Morrisville, and a little bit of Raleigh.
All right. And we also have Jonathan Blumberg, our attorney, here with us to make sure that our meeting procedure goes smoothly.
And I represent the Wake County Board of Education.
And our superintendent, Katie Moore. First, can we get approval of the meeting agenda?
Chair Mahaffey, I'll move approval of the meeting agenda.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve tonight's meeting agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, the meeting agenda is approved. I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent to explain a bit about tonight.
Good evening,
Superintendent
Chair
Moore.
and board members and folks in the audience. So tonight is a public hearing for the student enrollment plan that is scheduled to be adopted by the board at the second board meeting in November, which will be November 16th, next Wednesday. There's been a process that has come up through now that include multiple drafts, public information sessions, online sessions, opportunities for the public and others to weigh in, public comment during regular board meetings in the last couple of weeks. And so tonight is the specific hearing for the assignment plan that will happen this evening prior to the vote that the plan that will be brought to the board for a vote next week on Wednesday. So just wanted to make sure everyone understood what we were doing here this evening.
So each speaker, and we have 8 speakers tonight, will have the opportunity to come to the podium. When you start speaking, and feel free to adjust those microphones, there is a green light that will begin. You'll have 2 minutes to speak to the board. We generally don't ask questions, we just listen. And when there are 30 seconds left, there'll be an auditory tone and a yellow light, and then when your 2 minutes is up, there is a red light and a noisy signal as well, asking you to stop. If you have any papers to give to the board that you'd like to share, just hand them to Mr. Blumberg, either before or after you speak. If not, it's pretty simple. Don't be scared. We're here to listen and appreciate you all being here. If we go through this list, because I know there is some traffic and I don't call your name, or call your name and someone's not here, we'll make sure we'll add them at the end just to make sure we got anybody if someone else comes. So thank you all for being here tonight. We know that it's important that your voices are heard, and appreciate you taking the time to come and speak with us. Our first speaker tonight is Kristen Peterson.
Will this timer start automatically?
That will start as soon as you start speaking, and if you need to adjust those microphones, feel free.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? So I am actually here. My name is Kristen Peterson. I have 2 children enrolled in the Wake County Public School System in elementary school. I wasn't fully aware, so I'm glad that Ms. Moore, you gave the introduction about what this hearing was about the enrollment plan, but I did want to speak about the proposed time changes for elementary school and the high schools. Is that okay for me to speak on that at this
Since
hearing?
we only have 8 speakers tonight, sure, we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. So I am not in favor of changing the proposed time frames to switch the elementary school and high school times. So the current times for elementary school, as you know, are 9:15 to 3:45, and for high school is 7:25 to 2:20. The proposal is for those times to switch, so elementary school kids will attend school from 7:25 to 2:20, and high school from 9:15 to 3:45. I have 2 children currently in elementary school, and this time frame I don't feel is appropriate for children of that age to attend school at such an early time and get out early. Pediatricians recommend, as many of you may know, that school-age children, particularly younger kids, have adequate hours of sleep. So if you take into consideration even putting your child to bed at 8 o'clock, which I have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, as I said, and my 5-year-old is definitely not going to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. However, even to allow him sufficient time, or both of them for that matter, to have sufficient time for sleep, to get up in the morning, try to make it on the bus stop if they ride the bus. For parents whose kids have to ride the bus, this is not sufficient time for them in the morning to eat breakfast and get ready for school. Additionally, it's very dark at that time of morning, so I would not have my children on the bus stop that early. And lastly, it's not a good. Can I finish? Sorry.
It's okay. We spent some time discussing whether, so just get 20 more seconds or so. Yeah.
Thank you. For parents that work and have their child out on the school bus on the school bus stop or get them to school at that time of morning is quite early, in addition to the time frame that they would get out of school for parents that work, such as me and my husband both. It's just not sufficient time to, be able to leave work, get the kids off the bus, if you are even able, not just me, but other parents that work outside the home as well. Everybody doesn't have that flexibility to be able to leave work to pick up their children from school, and 2:20 is rather early for folks who work regular business hours, who may get off between 3 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you,
So
Ms.
I appreciate
Peterson.
your time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Amanda Bell.
I didn't know I was getting picked to speak, so I'm going to wing it. Again, my name is Amanda Bell. I am here to voice my opposition to the redistricting. I live in the neighborhood Woods of Kildare, and my son is a freshman at Apex High School, and the proposed change has him moving to Cary High. We've lived in the same neighborhood for over 15 years, moving within our neighborhood specifically for the high school. I went to Apex High School, and we were excited and stayed. We moved within our neighborhood specifically so he could go to Apex High School. And I feel like the way the map was drawn, they just kind of squiggled his whole bus route is cut in half. Half the kids stay at Apex, half go to Cary now. And, he can walk and ride bikes to some of these kids' houses, and they're going to all be split up. Also, we had a really hard time during COVID with virtual school. And it's just been stressful, and then having him come back now, and he finally gets to high school, he's thriving, he's doing great, and now he's stressed out again because I don't want to leave my friends. I'm doing so well. You don't want to switch schools, but at the same time, for us, we are both working parents, and for us to try to pick up our child at 2:18 after school is just not feasible. So we don't really know how we can handle that. So I just hope that you'll consider, with the stress of COVID, especially for high schoolers, it's really hard when you start making friends and you're put into a school to then get shuffled around. And it seems like with another high school coming on board in a few years, maybe hold off and wait until that high school is filled, and then address if there's still some overcrowding in the other parts of Wake County near Holly Springs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Our next speaker is Jennifer Taborek? Taborek. Thank you.
The stability transfer without transportation is not the stability that families need. I will have a senior and a freshman that hopefully are going to be staying at Apex High School next year. Without transportation, families like mine that are working families will have to save over $10,000 over the next 6 months in order for me to afford a car and pay for insurance for my senior daughter to attend Apex High School in her last year. Let's talk about equity. The stability transfer without transportation is not stability. This class of 2024 started their high school career at home their freshman year. Their sophomore year, they began navigating the true high school experience on campus, investing time and effort in not only meeting new friends, but joining clubs and sports and building those all-important relationships with these teachers. Now, rising seniors that don't have transportation to school are left in the unenviable position, not by their choice, of leaving the high school, of the only high school that they know. This cannot continue. This decision is also coming down at the time frame where these juniors are taking SATs and ACT testing. Not good timing, Wake County. The mental health crisis on Wake County's hands for these seniors will be real. The stability transfer without transportation is not stability. I'm asking staff, as well as the board, to seriously consider providing remote or express busing for 2 years for these students so that they can choose to stay. For some of us with seniors, this is not a choice. It's non-negotiable. This is their last and final senior year. The overcrowding issue that this reassignment plan, like you said yourselves, is different than other reassignment plans. Providing remote or express busing for 2 years affords many families this opportunity to let their children stay and finish out without all of the drama. Stability transfer without transportation is not stability. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jazzy Foster. Garaj Mohan. Shayna Brown.
Hello. Hi. I actually came here for different reasons, but hearing everyone's opinion, is very informative, and I agree with them. I mean, all my students, they ride the bus, so yeah, I can't get up that early. Me and my husband are working parents, so yeah, it needs to be transportation involved. I think the board should consider everyone's background, everyone's, situation, and I know it's hard because there are, like you said, it's, at high capacity, and it's very hard to try to consider everyone. Someone's going to be hurting and suffering somewhere, but as far as, like she said, I have a senior, an upcoming senior, I have a freshman, and we just came back from the outskirts of Edenton, North Carolina, and, no, like, they don't want to go, Wake County has the best educational system, and they're happy where they are, and I just, I don't want to go home or me and my husband have to figure out ways to try to, make our money and get them back and forth to school. So, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brad Welton.
First, I would call for the board to review the true number of students affected and the accurate utilization numbers for the impacted high schools in Apex and Cary. For instance, Green Hope's own website lists 2,800 students enrolled with a capacity of 2,495 students and a 23-24 utilization of 82% without change. That math does not add up. Secondly, I'm here speaking for the families and neighborhoods affected by Apex Friendship High School changes. Board Policy 4150 outlines the 4 pillars that supposedly guide these proposals. Unfortunately, for families affected by the Apex Friendship High School changes, the number of negative comments have no place or regard in this policy. Thus, the district can do whatever it wants, but just because you can, should you? Should you create chaos in a high school student's education, uprooting them to another school where they have to start over? Should you put undue burdens on the mental health of students planning out their high school careers and beyond? Should you break apart existing relationships, bonds, activities, a sense of community when there is not a new school where all the students are part of something new? Should you continue to establish Apex neighborhoods that are now less important than the new neighborhoods? Should you tell existing families in neighborhoods that undue burdens, hardships, mental health issues are a generous gift from Wake County if we have to carpool students to and from school? Should existing families be expected to bear the burden of the mental health issues this will cause? Should you create even more safety issues with carpooling? Carpooling at all schools is a major safety issue. Uprooting students without a new school is not the answer. Uprooting students without busing is not the answer. These children are not just numbers. They are vested in Apex Friendship High School. This proposal has far-reaching implications. I ask the board to reconsider Apex Friendship High School changes and all Apex Cary High School changes for the good of your students, our children, and the next leaders of your community.
Thank you, Mr. Welton. Melissa Price. Okay. So, Ms. Foster, Garaj Mohan, Melissa Price. Okay. Well, that is the end of our public hearing then. I want to thank you all for coming and speaking to us. I know it's not always an easy thing to do, to be up at this podium, and thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts and concerns and raising questions. And at this time, if there's no other business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Chair Mahaffey, given the traffic situation and everything,
Yep.
do we want to adjourn or maybe just go into recess for about 10 minutes, see if anyone shows, and then we can adjourn?
I think a 10-minute recess. I'm seeing some head nods. I think that is a great idea. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vice Chair. All right, we will go to a 10-minute recess, and thank you all for coming.
I was just going to share with you the rest of the
Make sure everyone's ready to reach out to everyone. Yes, definitely.
I have a ninth grader and sixth grade, and the reality is they're going to be here two schools. Oh, yeah. Because she's not going to, she's in the marching band, she's in the concert, she's part of the next marching. So you can't. It just took 3 minutes.
That was great, though. Fine, though. It was delicious. Like, with the honey, I was like, oh.
It's just 3 minutes. See what happened years ago.
Yeah, please do.
This is where this long-term plan that all these because we were this week that's high. They opened Scott Stewart General High School. These 3 neighborhoods,
Somebody has to take my son to
the kids in those 3 neighborhoods at Scott Stewart